Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tabnamam. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha in Upashama Prakarana, and section is 32. The episode of Prahlad continues. I have already given you the basic setting that Prahlad was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. His father Hiranyakashipu, while he was practicing austerity for demoniac strength, Indra kidnapped his wife, and wife was pregnant, and she was kept in an ashram of Narada. And there, with Narada's satsanga's influence, the baby, even in the womb, became enlightened. Not exactly enlightened, but a great devotee. And I have explained to you prenatal education. And that's profound reality. Super science. If you want children to grow up with spiritual strength and stamina, allow your whole life become the God word. And be more generous. If you don't want God for yourself, you want God for your baby. I'm joking. When you do good deeds in the name of loved one, it's a divine trick. It helps you the best. Vasishtha continued, O Rama, having reflected thus within his mind, this is the setting after Hiranyakashipu has been destroyed by Narasingha, God, man, lion form. The Narasingha potential is in everyone. Man is your Purushartha. Lion is the grace. When Purushartha and grace become blended, now Narasingha is handling your problems. And you have to be baby Prahlad. And you are meant to attain boundless ahlad. Ahlad means joy. So Prahlad saw what happened. And his mind became completely fascinated by Lord Vishnu. And Vasishtha is relating all this to Rama. Vasishtha continued, O Rama, having reflected thus within his mind, reflecting upon the glory and the power of Lord Narasingha, who is Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana. He invoked the divine presence of Lord Vishnu within his heart. Now he takes up a sadhana project of uniting with Lord Vishnu. And he adopted the method of ahamgraha upasana. Upasana has different mode. Upasana means meditation, devout meditation on God. Always normal upasana, you always view God before you, in your heart, but you don't view yourself completely united with God. When you are doing ahamgraha upasana, you and God become completely blended. In early stage of ahamgraha upasana, the Guru tells the disciple, whatever you meditate upon, begin in your mind, I am that object of meditation. And there is an episode also to a disciple, having been impressed by the need for upasana, practice of upasana, goes into a cave and begins to practice ahamgraha upasana. Now, the Guru had told, whatever object is delightful to your mind, meditate upon it. But when you meditate, say to yourself, I am that. Don't see any difference. So now he started thinking, what should I meditate upon? He was a farmer. And he had a big buffalo, a pet. So he started meditating on, I am a buffalo, I am buffalo. He became so immersed that now he looked at the little window, gateway to come out of the cave, and buffalo can't get out. It was time for langar, that's it, ashram food serving. And they didn't find him. The Guru with some other disciple went to look for him. And they came to that cave and shouted out, you, come out. He said, oh Guru, it's impossible. I'm buffalo. I'm too big to come out. The Guru realized what has happened. He said, relax, relax. Say to yourself, you are your normal one. And I'm asking the buffalo to go away. He did and was able to come out. Just a humorous way of describing what ahamgraha upasana means. Also what it means that you may meditate upon ahamgraha, I am Brahman, but don't stay stuck in it. After meditation is over, take care of the worldly practical realities. Understand it's a sadhana and we are not lost in it. Now, how did he reflect upon? He reflected in the following manner. I am Lord Vishnu and nothing else. I'm seated on Garuda bird. Lord Vishnu, who is endowed with the 4 divine attributes of will, intelligence, action, compassion, all this in infinite measure. Dharma, Aishwarya, Jnana and Vairagya. All these 4 great virtues. Dharma, ethical virtue. Aishwarya, all divine effulgence, divine strength. Jnana, wisdom. And Vairagya, absolute dispassion. And many other virtues are there. 4 doesn't limit all virtues, just open the door to countless virtues of Lord Vishnu, who has 4 arms. And 4 arms imply he permeates the entire universe. 4 directions include the whole world. Who is holding the 4 divine objects, conch, discus, mace and lotus. Conch is awakener. It is jnana. But jnana involves also dhyana in it. Dhyana is meditation. And discus represents karmic movement. Karmic movement blended with grace. Mace, Sankataharan. Whenever there is big difficulty, divine grace breaks it down like a mace hammering over a person. Lotus, giver of all divine virtues, Devi Sampat. So he is Narayan devotee, and that's the way he starts his devotion. Thereby you are being given lesson how to develop your profound devotion to God. Whoever is your Ish Devata, your movement is in the same manner. Now, how does he start meditating? Now, this is very advanced stage. In early stage, your mind can't handle it. I am the supremely blessed Vishnu. Instead of saying, oh Vishnu, I am surrendering to you, nothing like that. I am. I am Lord Vishnu. But that's what profound philosophy of Vedanta is. You worship Shiva, but end up Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shiva. So I am supremely blessed Vishnu with blue complexion. Blue complexion, the complexion of the sky. Sky is Akasha. Akasha refers to 3 stages. Physical expansion, that's what people like, to have a lot of space. But no matter how much space you have, if mind is not in healthy state, you will be in a crunched condition. You will feel within yourself shrinking to nowhere. So therefore, mental space is different. And your spiritual movement is a space journey from physical space to mental space and to the absolute space. Then you are completely spaced out. And therefore, Krishna, Rama, they are all described as Akasha, Nila Gagan, the blue like the sky. That's the purpose behind their blue color. With eyes shining like the sun and the moon. Again, sun, moon, first physical symbols, they are quite elegant. The whole creation will not exist without the operation of sun and moon. But if you go into deeper level, sun is intellect, jnana movement. Moon is bhakti movement. And sun and moon, they are blended. If you read the Uttarayana Marg, the northern path, the first stage, Agnir Jyoti Aha Shukla, Agni, fire, Vairagya, Jyoti, discrimination, Viveka, Aha. If you develop these and bring integral yoga in daily life, your life has a joyous source of inspiration. So you do not permit frustration or perspiration. Allow inspiration to lift you up whenever you are sinking down. And thereby, ultimately, attain enlightenment. So, Agnir Jyoti Aha. After that comes Shukla, moon. Means your heart begins to develop the divine feeling, bhavana, vikas. Your bhavana feeling goes on a waxing, becomes divine love. And finally, the entire movement culminates with sun. So your sadhana movement has two eyes looking at you. Those are the eyes of Vishnu. I am enfolded by his divine, surrounded by his divine attendants. I worship this divine image that abides in my heart with offerings of flowers by the act of mind alone. Now a whole ritual is described, but he is not doing it externally, all in his mental plane. Therefore, you are being introduced again. In early stage, this type is helpful. It will lead you further. Advanced stage, you don't go through all the details. You are simply drawn to God and it goes asahaja, spontaneous. But in the early stage, all this is needed. So, how did he start? All the details of ritual you will now hear from me. I worship this divine image that abides in my heart with offerings of flowers by the act of mind alone. I offer unto the divine self all kinds of precious gems and jewels, and all articles of taste and enjoyment. By the act of mind, King Prahlad offered unto Lord Vishnu wreaths of mandara flowers. Now, when you offer now mentally, don't be a miser. That also is a subtle point. Thereby you are allowing your mind to become accustomed to a broader way of feeling and understanding. So while worshipping, imagine flowers, not ordinary flowers, mandara flowers from heavenly garden, chains of lotuses made of gold, as well as garlands of fragrant and beautiful flowers such as kunda, kasha, kinsuka, ashoka, bela. For that you have to go to Google. He offered flowers as well as fruits from numerous trees and performed an elaborate worship of Lord Vishnu. There are people who do the entire ritual without externally involved with the ritual. Every detail. And here that's the stage where he is putting all in detail. After performing mental worship of Lord Vishnu, King Prahlad conducted an external worship in the inner apartment of his palace in the divine temple. Now, in early stage, both ways. First he did mental worship. Now externally also he is doing all that worship. As a result of his sacred worship, his mind became purified. In turn, his subjects who were constantly under his influence became righteous and religious in nature. Now what's happening? The demons, who have always demoniac quality, they begin to lose their demoniac quality. It will create a little problem. Indra becomes concerned about it. When the gods of the heavenly world came to know of Prahlad's transformation and that of his subjects, and that they had become devotees of Lord Vishnu and had given up their demoniac ways, when gods saw that, they missed demons doing demoniac things. No news breaking in the heavenly world. So they went to Lord Vishnu complaining. The gods asked of Lord Vishnu, O Supreme Divinity, how is it that the demons have become your devotees? These demons were ever intent on hurting the sages and saints, and were always committing increasing acts of violence and cruelty. How is it they have turned to devotion, the rarest attainment in life? Like the rumbling of a cloud, Lord Vishnu spoke in a deep, mystic voice. Lord Vishnu appeared before them. O gods, Prahlad has become my devotee. This should not be distressing to you. If you think that an endowed with my devotion, these mighty demons will become mightier still. It is not so. Devotion to me is the source of all auspiciousness. It promotes harmony and absence of violence. King Prahlad has attained that lofty state. Lord Vishnu is telling the gods that King Prahlad has attained that lofty state wherein all his karmas have been burnt up by the fire of devotion. He no longer being led by karma. And he has come to a state where he will not go back to karmic process, the cycle of birth and death. So now his whole process is not defined by bhagya, ordinary destiny, but by vidhi vidhan, the divine plan for the soul to attain enlightenment. That's the highest mystic destiny of every soul. He will never enter into mother's womb again. Good news, bad news, whatever. If a person who is endowed with good qualities suddenly turns into an evil personality with evil habits, this is indeed a matter of great concern. That's the path of patan, falling down. And that when that happens, he's talking to gods, then you need to be concerned. That's the. But when a demoniac personality turns into a divine personality, this is indeed a matter of great rejoicing, not a matter of concern. And this process is called utthan. Utthan, ascending movement. Patan, descending movement. When there is patan, that's the need of concern. But when utthan, someone is so shining brighter and brighter, you don't go on complaining, is he going to burn everybody up? I'm talking shining brighter in a spiritual sense. No, all the love, all the nectarine grace will emanate from that person. So it's always a good news. So you go on saying, Jai, Jai, go on growing. Therefore, O gods, there is no need for you to fear Prahlad and his people. And behind all this story is Sage Vasishtha. He continues, he tells Rama, thus saying, Lord Vishnu disappeared from their sight, and gods returned to their various abodes. O Rama, since then the gods and demons became friends. It's a big surprising news. But the practical idea, understand, every human being has God, human, demon, all three blended. And that I'm referring to the Da mantra given by Prajapati. To God he gave the mantra, Da means Dhamma, control the mind and senses. The more you control it, the more godly nature becomes prominent. Control and allow the human nature to blossom by charity, dan, dhamma, dan, and get rid of this negative quality by daya, compassion. And when these three have become highly advanced, then you attain liberation. O Rama, as time passed, all divine qualities such as discrimination, cheerfulness, dispassion, contentment bloomed in his personality. He was no longer interested in the pleasures of the senses, and he shunned them in the same manner as a deer shuns the company of human beings. They are reaching the hunting stage. Otherwise, they can be very good pets. Now, let me give you some more. Spiritual progress is characterized by the quality of being shisht. Demoniac movement is called dusht. Shisht, 8 great virtues which are normal and natural to your soul. When they are allowed to blossom, they are allowed to flourish, then you are shisht. Then you are on the good, blessed path. You are praiseworthy. But if those are opposed by your personality, by your action, by your conduct, then you are dusht. But what are those 8 qualities? Firstly, daya, compassion. These are inherent in the soul. Next, shanti. Even when you are told bitter words or scolded, love does not care for your scolding. It wants to help you. Shanti literally means you forgive people, forgiving heart. Third point is anasuya, means don't involve your mind in finding faults with others. If you are just a child, you are just interested with yourself. You don't go after how many other children are there, who has gotten the, the chocolate and who has not gotten, who cares? And so that's how we are born. Next, shauch. Nature automatically allows anything that is impure to be brought out in a very spontaneous way. The soul inherently has the instinct not to hold on to anger, hate, greed. These are impurities. Next point called anayas. Anayas means effortless. When a tree is growing, it is not creating a big tension. Asking other tree, how it is you have grown up, I have not. Let's stop. Use muscle. No more hustle. In brief, when you are on the right track with integration, your movement is spontaneous. Try to see the difference between the project which requires a lot of perspiration, lot of tension, lot of pressure on your head, and bringing out poems, excellent inspirational teachings. That doesn't require all that. It requires your mouth to be relaxed and bring out joy. That's called anayas, effortlessly. But while I'm saying these are ideals to be kept held in your mind, and if you miss, that doesn't matter. These ideals have to be pursued. Next is Mangal. Mangal is auspicious. You always look for, grown-up people look for auspiciousness. If they woke up early in the morning and saw a vulture, so my day is done. But you met a dancing peacock. Oh, what a day. If you are Godward movement, you don't look for Mangal. Mangal is with you. Whichever step you take, that itself becomes the source of auspiciousness. So Mangalam, that's instinctive in soul. It doesn't have to go after astrologers. Should I be happy today or not? Its movement is auspicious, automatically. Akarpanya, without miserliness, void of miserliness. Miserliness, you're always feeling crunched, feeling always under pressure, always determining now that this person needs help. How much? $50? $10? Let's give him only 10. That type of thinking is called miserliness. When you think in that way, your heart suffers a lot, because this is where the moments of inspiration, there was the opportunity to open the window for a good breeze. Good acts allow that type of opportunity. And when you stop yourself from doing good, that becomes a kind of a miserliness. And you are securing your possessions. But what you are securing? You are securing your trouble, your tension, your stress. Therefore, it is instinct not to be miserly. Aspriha, not to crave for others' wealth. That's what Upanishad says. Not to be greedy. All these, daya, shanti, anasuya, shauch, anayas, mangal, akarpanya, aspriha. These are 8 great qualities. And when we allow the soul to move in the right direction, all these 8 qualities begin to develop. You don't have to look for them. The whole movement is shisht. And your conduct, shishtachar. The opposing movement that opposes everything, instead of daya, cruelty. In their forgiveness, revenge. Instead of spontaneity, put all your muscles. Bring a dagger also with you. And so forth. All those 8 in a negative way, then that makes you dusht. Do term there is dosh, not dosha, dosh. All the impurity is represented by the word do. And there are eight impurities you are developing within yourself. And the word is dusht, translated as wicked. His mind sought delight only in the scriptures. The talks and ways of the world lost their meaning for him. He was no longer interested in the assembly of men and women or in exuberant festivities. To understand now, he became drawn to Shastra, scriptures, and Satsanga. This should not be taken in a literal way that you simply, the moment it spiritually develops, you run away from all people and never go back to them. It doesn't mean that. If you're living where you are living, no matter what situation, your interest, your deeper understanding has nothing to do with the manners and the delights of those who are tamasic, rajasic. You have nothing to do with them. You become detached. So even though you are living with them, you are far away from them. And even though we're hearing all their words and all the things go on in the world, the news go on breaking, still his mind is only fascinated by scriptures. Scriptures again do not mean exactly going after Gita and this and that. It means those Godward movement, Godward thoughts. And all scriptural teachings, they are just simple theme behind all scriptures is to allow your mind to be Godward. And that becomes your reality. The talks and ways of the world lost their meaning for him. But as yet, King Prahlad had not become established in the self. He is in a state where he cannot go backward into cycle of birth and death. But at the same time, a stage that he is going further up. I've already explained in 7 steps. 4th step, he becomes Jivan Mukta. But you don't stay in 4th state, you go further. You go into 5th state. Then you go to 6th step. You go into 7th step. So that's the Prahlad's predicament. He's going into a higher step. During this time, he was aware of 2 aspects. On one side, physical consciousness with an ever-increasing awareness of the emptiness of all worldly enjoyments. On one side, the world begins to lose its value increasingly. On the other side, mystic consciousness that beckons him towards the attainment of liberation. For the purpose of showering his grace on his devotee Prahlad, Lord Vishnu appeared before him. Overjoyed, Prahlad spoke words of praise, steeped in divine love. Prahlad said, I adore thee, O beloved Lord Hari. You are the light of lights, dispelling the darkness that abides internally as well as externally. All the misery, problems, complications that you face in the external world, that's externally. All the tapas, an internal movement of sublimating mala, controlling vikshepa, proceeding with your meditation to illumination, all that deeper movement. Both sides, the world you live in and your internal movement, both begin to be handled by God's hand. You are the refuge of the suppliant, the all-powerful divinity. You manifest in the triple forms, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva. And if you want to hear in the terms of Devis, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. Here there is a role of grace. Lord Vishnu appeared before him. God's grace enabled him to speed up his sadhana process. Grace is called Kripa. Your Kriya Shakti is led to Pa movement, Pada movement, leading your movement to the highest goal, Kripa, until you gain Prapti, attainment. And the grace is of four types. Ishwar Kripa, that's the source of all, that's the basic grace. Atma Kripa, when an aspirant becomes hungry for a spiritual sadhana, you begin to develop, somehow you are not complete, no matter what you have gained and how much fun you have had in the world. So that type of hunger in itself is not an ordinary development. It's God's grace appearing as Atma Kripa. Led by your many good karmas, somehow a little crack opened within in your world of ignorance, and grace sneaked in. When that has happened, you develop. Nobody told you, but you develop. I want to know what's going on in this ashram. So that's Atma Kripa. If that is not there, forget about all the scriptural things. Next point, Guru Kripa. Then you come to next stage of Kripa. Connect yourself with someone who can guide you in an authentic way. If you are not deserving that Kripa, then you will be led by foolish, dull-witted people who will promise you so many things and will give you nothing. All the powers and different types of temptations, siddhis, so many. I'm not going to detail on that, but it's easy to understand. When you want guidance, there are so many people ready to guide you. But it's a tricky movement. Your good karma and Grace of God will let you be joined with someone who is really helpful to you, really authentic. And that type of matching God will continue to do. Guru Kripa doesn't mean that is only we are receiving all inspiration from one person. The world begins to develop the role of Guru. Ask Dattatreya. There's 24 Gurus. And Shastra Kripa. Scriptures people collect, they hear something is so great. Hanuman Chalisa, yes. Bring the best Hanuman Chalisa book. If it is in a golden cover, it's better. Ramayana, Puranas, Vedas. And will store them all up. And sometimes you may become further interested to even learn by rote the entire Gita. But end up with swollen head. Then I'm the knower. I'm Trivedi, knower of 3 Vedas. And I said, no, I'm Chaturvedi. I'm knower of 4 Vedas. All that I'm leading to understand is they don't have Shastra Kripa. They have Shastras, all the books. But the Kripa is not there. Shastra Kripa is there, then the moment you open the page, you will find something like a jewel. It will touch your heart. Then Shastra, that was hiding its jewel, has brought it out. Shastra Kripa, the grace of Scripture. So grace operates in all the 4 ways. And Prahlada was blessed with grace. Ishwar Kripa, God's grace. Your own aspiration, Atma Kripa. Guru's guidance. And Shastra opens door to its deeper message. I take refuge in thee. You have the complexion of a blue lotus and the hue of the autumnal sky. You hold lotus, discus, mace and conch in your hands. I have already given those meanings. I worship thee in the lotus of my heart. You are effulgent. Your smiles are like the beams of the moon, delightful for allaying the sufferings of all devotees. You are adorned with divine ornaments, Devi Sampat, all divine virtues. See, all the elegant way of turning your mind to God. Otherwise, dry way. I'm turning to you, God. How long I have to turn to you? My tea is waiting. Joke. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukbhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritam Gamaya ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री रामाय नमो नमः।